Hello, Brooklyn. I'm Angela Renee Coakley, your host for this edition of Be Seen on BK Live. And today we're going to talk about documentary filmmaking, those real stories about real-life events and people that's screening our next Be Seen community event at the Bishop Gallery in Bed-Stuy on Saturday the 24th at 4 p.m. We're happy to have two Brooklyn Free Speech producers with us today who've made powerful films, and they're here with a sneak preview of their stories and their process. Please welcome Zac Martin, who made a film called Community Heroes, and Zac Gomillion, who made a film called The Big Drum. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. So tell us, how did you land here at BRIC as Brooklyn Free Speech producers? Want to start, Wayne?
I first came in about maybe 2010, and I did all the classes, certified producer and field producer. And I just heard about it and came down and took advantage of the opportunity.
Are you a native?
I'm native of Brooklyn, yes.
Okay, good. And Zac, how about you?
I have a friend who works on the production named Daryl, and he and I work in the cafe a lot, and he's really great at just like striking up conversations. So from that, we just told him a little bit about someone here. I don't actually remember who it was initially, and then they, up the chain it went, and we were able to tell them about what we were doing, and then we ended up here.
Okay, cool. So Wayne, you want to tell us what we're about to see on your clip?
What you're about to see is the title of my documentary is called The Story of Big Drum. And it is the story of traditional and ceremonial big drumming in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
All right, so let's see.
Tradition from way back, the old folks. Yeah, one of my grandfather danced too, I did it. Mama Mwe, that we go down Mama Mwe. So I represent my grandfather. And Big Drum is we thing in Union Island, and we love it. And I am thankful for being here today. Best night I ever have for a long time. And the Stewarts, we all are one family. I'm glad to be here today.
The most important one with Big Drum, it's a must. They call it the maroon.
We were able to retain this aspect of our African heritage, and we are proud to be part of this culture.
Awesome. I love the establishing shot of you landing on the island. That's
Right.
That's Grenada?
It's called Union Island.
Union Island, okay.
So it's part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Oh, awesome. So we have like Soul Summit and those outdoor dance celebrations. How do you feel that Big Drum has affected or influenced celebration and ceremony here in African culture today?
I guess it's like maybe an instinctive extension of what goes on, what has been going on in the Caribbean and Africa, and they took it here. And they infused it with the house music, and because it's all about the rhythm.
Right, so it's not a stretch to say it's probably, those events are probably our modern day, interpretation of
So it could be considered modern day big drumming.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Infused with technology of today.
Right. Describe the subtle art of communication between the dancer and the drummer. Okay,
so the dancing, I guess traditionally each dance has, each movement has a significance. And the dancer and the drummer are watching each other. And the dancer actually stops the drum. They put their hand on the drum and stops the drummer from beating and when they want to stop dancing.
And I see that the women do something different than the men. The women hold their dresses.
From what I found out, like in interviews, traditionally, like the drumming was maybe like a male-dominated type of thing.
And traditionally.
A lot of the dancing signified what was done for the day. So if they was working hard all day, they would come and dance, and certain movements would signify what they did all day.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, well, thank you so much. So Zac, tell us what we're going to see on your clip.
You're going to see a clip from one of the community heroes in Fort Greene. This is just a beautiful lady who's doing great work in the community center, and we asked them each to describe what it means to be a hero, and she gives a little bit about what her perspective on that is.
Okay, so let's see what we got. Let's go to the clip.
My name is Sean Doyle. My community is Fort Greene. I had a lot of mentors. One that stands out, Shawanda Swain from the Boys and Girls Club, was a young lady who was the unit director, little short lady, but she had a lot of power behind her. It seemed she was relentless, the only female in position of power at the Boys and Girls Club. She actually gave me my first job as a coat monitor. If I hit the lotto today, I would do the same exact thing. I might own my own building, a few of them, but it would be the same feel. My passion for helping others, I think it's competitive within myself. You know, I help this person, so that person will help someone else. And if I can see a snowball effect with that happen, I'm satisfied.
Very interesting, community leaders, and he seemed pretty young. Tell me how you want to, what do you want viewers to take away from your documentary?
Well, what these community hero projects are often about is flipping the script on at-risk and overlooked communities in Brooklyn. A lot of people look at Fort Greene, and particularly the projects, and we did a second one in Gowanus, and they would walk by and they would think of blight and brokenness, devastation, poverty, and they don't know that there are often beautiful people doing beautiful things to help make those neighborhoods great. And so we just wanted to highlight some of those stories, particularly by allowing the community to nominate the heroes themselves, so that we didn't come in with any agenda about who we thought should be highlighted. And so these were the stories of people that were highlighted in those communities. That was Sean Doyle, who's a director at a mentoring program at the Ingersoll Community Center.
So why do you feel like these stories are important to document now?
Well, for two reasons. One, again, like the idea of when most people think of these neighborhoods, they just look at the news and think of Fort Greene, Ingersoll houses. There have been a number of shootings this year alone. And there's a lot of violence and a lot of brokenness, but in the midst of that, there are people that love their neighborhood, that love to serve and bless and want to see a better voice come out of that neighborhood. And secondly, actually Wayne and I were talking about this earlier, was the idea that a lot of these stories are only shared through these kind of interactions. And without us cataloging and capturing them, when those people move on or move away or whatever, these stories are not going to be told. So we wanted to make sure that they were captured so that people could be inspired by them.
All right, so let's keep it real for a second, Zac, since we're talking about real stories in real life. Ingersoll houses, that's public housing, that's the projects. How did you grow up in these neighborhoods? How did you become familiar with these people?
It's about building relationships. So what we did was often just spend time in these neighborhoods and get to know the people, participate in what is already happening in the neighborhood without any agendas, simply spending time learning from them and listening to them. And this was actually on the heels of a lady named Miss Amu. She has a show here on BRIC. And
okay.
Yeah, we met her because she runs Peace Fest every year. And we connect. One of the things we want to do with the Community Heroes Project is connect with an opportunity, an event that's already happening. So we connected with her, and we wanted to just encourage her with what she was already doing. So from there, she was able to provide us with opportunities to meet people, and kind of it just took off from there.
So normally when we think heroes, we think superheroes, we think Marvel Comics, you know, I think the woman referred to herself as Rogue or said she was inspired by Rogue. Why did you decide, or why were you inspired to call these people heroes?
Well, because they're doing things that are often helping the neighborhood that most wouldn't see. Wayne, who's one of the heroes in Fort Greene, simply is like the custodian of the community center. But he shared the story about how he'd been doing that for so long and just providing support to the community center that there was actually some interactions with some of the youth on the street, and they saw him and stopped what they were doing because of the respect that he had in the neighborhood. So someone would not think of this man, Wayne, as someone who's doing heroic things in the neighborhood if you were looking from the outside. You'd think of the Jimmy Butlers and the people that have left, but these are people that are just every day doing faithful things to help make their neighborhoods better.
I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. So I thank you guys for coming. You know, I appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing you at the Bishop Gallery in Bed-Stuy. That's right. It's in Bedford Avenue, I believe. Brooklyn, get out there. It's a free event right there by the Home Depot between Willoughby and DeKalb, right? All right. We look forward to seeing more of you.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.